Hi, good day everyone. I'm Bhuvaneswaran. I'm from Sagi University taking up degree in Bachelor of Quantity Surveying. So today in this video we are going to explain about the construction standard form of contract, on the differences on two different types of contracts, forms of contract, and the advantage and disadvantage in standard form of contracts. So the first thing, standard form of contract is the form that provides for the terms of the contract to be specifically drawn up by technical and public authorities for common use of building projects, and the terms that arrange between the clients and contractors their rights, duties, and their jobs to be performed in the process of the construction. First of all, in Malaysia, there's four types of contract forms. First of all is PWD Form 203A 2010. PWD is a Government of Malaysia standard form of contract which is used for bill of quantity, which is in the part of the contract. The next one is PAM Contract 2006, which is issued by Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia. The next one will be CIDB Standard Contract Form of Building Works 2000 edition. The CIDB Standard Form of Contract for Building Works are issued by Construction Industry Development Berhad Malaysia, which is also referred as CIDB. The next one, which is internationally recognized, is FIDIC Red Book 1999. Is a condition of contract for construction of buildings and engineering works built by employer, first edition 1999, issued by the International Federation of Consulting Engineers. So as you can see, there's four types of standard form of contract. First of all is the PAM Contract 2006, which is especially for private developers and private construction projects, and PWD form for the government projects, which is awarded to the private institution, but they still follow the government form of contract, which is the PWD form. And the CIDB standard form of contract for building works is also for private. And the next thing is FIDIC Red Book, which is internationally used and fulfill the category for most of the standard form of contract throughout the world. So what we are going to talk about is the difference of standard form of contract between PAM and PWD, which is first of all we can recognize that PAM and PWD is the differences are PAM is for private constructions and PWD for government construction, government related constructions. So I'm going to stress in this point of issue or topic for the difference where the performance bond. The performance bonds gives a protection to the employer against default by the contract. The bond is issued in favor of the employer, and the contract pays the premium applicable to the bond provider. Bond are normally 5% of the contract value. So before the site is given and the commencement date is given, commencement works start, performance bonds must be submitted as a criteria. In the difference for PAM and PWD in the performance bond, first of all, the way they submit the performance bond. For PWD, the contractor should provide the performance bond on the date of the possession of the site under clause 13.1a. Whereas for PAM Contract 2006, the contractor should submit the performance bond to the employer before the date of commencement under clause 37.1. For the form of performance bond in PWD form should be in the form as in appendix issued by an approved licensed bank or financial institution incorporated in Malaysia according to clause 13.1a. Whereas for PAM Contract 2006, it shall be in form as specified unless approved by the employer or the client under clause 37.2. For the validity of performance bond in PWD, it should remain valid and effective until 12 months after the expiry of defect liability period (DLP) or the issuance of certificate of completion of making goods defect under clause 13.1a. In PAM contract 2006 for validity, it should be remaining valid until 3 months after the completion date. Contractor has the duty to extend the duration to expire after the project practical completion of the work under 37.3. The next one is the failure to extend validity. In PWD, if the contractor failed to submit the performance bond on the date of possession of site, deduction of 10% should be made for the first interim payments and subsequent interim payments until the amount of deducted aggregate to sum equivalent to 5% of the contract sum under clause 13.2. Whereas for PAM contract 2006, the contractor fails to submit or maintain the validity of performance bond, employers should be entitled to withhold or deduct any payment or amount equal from contractor's progress payment under clause 37.4. So next thing is the payment from performance bond. For PWD, according to the clause 13.6, in the event that the contract is terminated under clause 51, therefore the said performance or any balance thereof shall be forfeited. In PAM contract 2006, based on clause 37.5, in the event of employer determines the employment of the contractor, the employer may call on the performance bond and utilize such amount to complete the works and recover his loss and all expenses and refund only the balance to contractor upon completion of the works. For the return of performance bonds in PWD, after the completion of making good of defect and giving the certificate of completion or making good defect, the performance bond may be released or refunded to the contractor under clause 13.5. Whereas for PAM contract 2006, it divides the portion of money retained into half and refund back to the contractor, one during the issuance of certificate of practical completion and the other one during the issuance of certificate of making good defects. As we move on, we are going to talk about the advantage or the disadvantage of this usage of these forms. So the advantage is it is clear and concise in the terms where generally well understood by both parties. For the client and contractors, easily to be understood. The terms are very straightforward. Nextly is vastly covered, generally thorough and cover virtually any issue that is likely to arise in construction project. So if there's any dispute or problems within the parties, which is the client and the contractor, there are many terms that vastly covers most of the disputes in the construction industry. Next thing is the precedent reference. It addresses the specific contract terms and clause used in this type of contract so that when the issue arises, easier to refer. It means with the precedent reference, whereby the contract administrator or whoever, according to the standard form of contract, for example PWD as Superintendent Officer SO, they have the liability to provide the reference with the precedent cases or so that they could take the dispute into next level. So next thing will be the cost. Is easily obtained at a relatively low cost, which the form is actually cheap and not hard to reach. It's easier to get compared to other methods. The disadvantage of the contract forms are the contract terms, which may need to be modified to fit your specific circumstances. In example, for certain terms it doesn't relate to your situation, so there must be changes to the terms. That will be a disadvantage in the process of any dispute. The next thing is interpretation. The interpretation between parties can be different, that can arise dispute, because the way that the client and the contractor looks at the form of contract differs. They look in the other side, the other party looks on another side. Next thing is favoring one party, where most of the time the company or the employer or the client who does the issuing of the contract and the standardization, where in the case of PWD, the government issues to follow this standard form of contract, and it is far favoring to one party, where the government, whereas the contractor is left behind in certain terms. The next thing is language problem. The law often depends upon language used in a contract. Every word in a contract has a specific meaning attached to it, where in the case of contractors, if they don't have the specific knowledge on this form or they are new to this industry, they will have problems in understanding the language that is stated in the standard form of contract. So in conclusion, when you want to do a properly drafted construction contract, the key to this successful project is using a standard form of contract, establishing the expectation, right, responsibility of the owner, contractor, and other parties involved in this construction project. Even the vital role of a good contract can play in successful construction project and gives a precedent for other construction projects for them to refer. And it is important to put in place a contract that meets the needs of your specific project. Thank you.